Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Pinball Arcade. Last time we played Rescue 911, today we're playing Red Ted's Roadshow. Hopefully, Red Ted's Roadshow is a little bit away from the standard non-fiction themes and we get something that is a little bit more fiction, but I kinda doubt it. If I was to guess, this is probably having to do with riding cars. But looking at the picture, it might actually have to do with construction, which is interesting because that is something I suggested in a previous episode, is that if you were making pinball tables for kids, the idea of having a road construction style theme makes as much sense as a lot of other themes. This is a Williams 1994 table. Roads under construction or in need of construction tend to be very bumpy, and that definitely as a theme could work well with pinball. Red and Ted's Roadshow was part of Williams/Midway's Super Pin line of wide body games. What's funny is we've seen tables labeled as Super Pin that didn't feel like they were wide body games. We've seen tables that have been labeled as wide body games that didn't feel like they were particularly Super Pin games. So there's definitely some different things. Those two phrases have been different times. Those two phrases have been used. Designed by Pat Lawler, Dwight Sullivan, and Ted Estes. Not sure if we've heard of Ted Estes before. This table has a deep rule set and an open, uncluttered playfield layout with 4 flippers and 2 manual plungers. Originally featured in Funhouse, this game features a more advanced version of Williams' Pinmation with the animating and talking heads of Red and Ted. Both characters comment on the action as you travel to the west coast of the United States, looking for fun and finding trouble in 18 different cities. With its wild dot matrix sequences and shaker motor, this game is a real attention grabber. 6,259 units of this table were produced. So I guess the idea would have been, was there a character named Red and Ted ever? It seems like, yeah, you have this red-haired construction lady and this guy named Ted. I can't tell if his hair is brown or black. Let's look up here. It kind of feels like it's a parody in part of Home Improvement. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. It does seem like they are road construction workers. The heads from Funhouse still look a little weird. You would have liked to have seen in the second version of implementing this less blocky square features and more rounded human-like features. And I will say it does seem like they've really only just put faces on a square box with a hat on it. Red is the boss, Ted is blue. Let's see, what else can we see? 2 manual flippers, they said. Yeah, one on both sides. Interesting, because I have often felt like that was the case, but I bet 90% of the time we shoot the ball out from the right anyways, up this way, through this way, and maybe towards a standing target, which there are these drop-down targets that seem like they would play a role, but then there also seems to be like a wall around him too, and it seems like this whole barrier may just swing all the way up so that you can shoot into mouth of Ted, where Red is kind of in the same place. This could be, in a funny way, a second attempt at adjusting some of the angles on Funhouse. Here you have a top flipper to hit Red. Having 2 characters talk is interesting. It is slightly different than the party dude's table where there was one head in the middle of the table that was always talking, but then you didn't shoot the balls in the mouth. But this gimmick really couldn't have gone very far. You could have made maybe 3 or 4 tables with it, but it was never going to become a standard thing, I'm sure. Seems like you can either through, maybe there's a kickback here, or maybe there's a kickback over here, or maybe it's just a gate that gets the ball down this way. But then you have this tiny flipper that, with that animation of firepower around it, makes me think it probably hits fairly hard. And then you have an interesting 2 standing targets that point the ball and bounce the ball in different directions. No, it's 3 standing targets curved in a way. That's an interesting idea. This looks like a fairly tight out lane. Flippers seem alright. Once again, we have balls that look like they drop in the in lane past the switches as far as the ramps. And then the ramp merges and then splits quite a bit. There's a lot going on as far as different ramps. There's a way when you shoot with this plunger, which I assume both plungers are just going to get pulled when I pull the plunger function. Otherwise, I don't know what button would be mapped at it. But yeah, it seems like if you hit the ball all the way this way, it'll hit the guy in the head, and then the ball will probably gate towards something else. So it's like, this is really turning more into a marble machine than even a pinball table. I'm not so far seeing any pop-up bumpers. Here's 3 of them over there. Yeah, I did see those, didn't I? Looks like there might be a scoop down this way. It's like a spinner. So either that's a scoop or it goes all the way around the back, and I don't know if there's really an all the way around the back loop there. These look like smaller pop-up bumpers. A lot of ways in which you could miss, I think, and end up hitting something else. There's a scoop here. So your center lane shot would be all the way back here to Ted. You have this kind of secondary mission board at the top of the screen, on top of the table, and I don't think that's going to particularly work very well. But then you have kind of just your score multiplier down this way, and then a focus on traveling to different states. I think what you probably would have done is taken this artwork, put it where this artwork was, since that's where your eyes wouldn't really need to go, and maybe even move the roadshow artwork a little bit higher too, and then move the lights for the roadshow down lower. See, they wanted a recognizable United States, so probably best put this circle down this way. The only thing I could think is maybe these circles are going to light up and point in specific directions you're supposed to shoot, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Like all tables, this is going to heavily boil down to just what you're able to accomplish. This is interesting art that there's just a guy on a thing, and then you have a person on a motorcycle, and then cars getting run over by the bulldozer. Yeah. It would be funny if there actually was a TV show around this, and I just don't remember it. But it probably isn't. It's featuring country western star Charlene Carter as the voice of Red. Interesting. So they licensed a country western song singer or star. Maybe she has to have a voice of some sort that's recognizable. This once again points to how so many of these tables were built around the concept of country western fans. Either country western was just really big amongst pinball designers, or country western was a lot more popular in '94 than I recall it. I was definitely not into music much, so it is very possible the country western was a lot bigger in '94 than I think. Our standard goals are complete a skill shot, activate multiple, score big millions, activate flying rocks, and earn an extra ball. Those all seem like they're probably doable.
Jerk alert.
So Ted didn't really say anything. This is going to be a hard table to get the angles right on.
Thursday. Fire in the hole.
It seems to me
It's a dud.
what we're trying to do is move to Friday.
Hey, look, Ted. Taxi cabs.
You will remove that bulldozer from the street.
Is that bothering you, darling?
Yeehaw.
I am not
Yep,
afraid
these
of
are
you.
very country road construction workers, which I guess that works and makes sense. I'm bumping the button on accident here and accidentally nudging the game.
Hey, quitting time.
Where's my paycheck?
Well, on Ted in particular, you're not going to get a sneak in bonus while he's talking. I think
Let's get
Red
ready
could
to
talk,
rock one on.
and you could probably get a gulp bonus.
Hey, payday! Let's party! Put on your dancing shoes, baby!
There's some weirdness here because my first interpretation of Ted as a character was to think he might be mentally damaged, brain damaged, or deficient. But now that he's talking a little bit more, I'm away from that thought. And I guess first impressions matter, and you shouldn't have your character just make a grunting sound. It once again makes it feel
What a
feel
guy.
like it is inspired in part by the Home Improvement TV show,
Hey,
where
look, Ted. Mardi Gras.
the main
I knew
main
I should've
actor
run more than
grunted a
one
lot.
t-shirt.
Oh, and I think some people might argue that that main actor is somewhat mentally damaged.
It's a dud. Woo!
So
Woo!
this is a table that so far I have yet to figure out the actual goals. It feels like more you really do have to start a specific mission, and then each mission will give you very different goals. Interesting country music playing.
So long, y'all.
This might be the first instance of like really good quality music playing on the table.
Let's wreck some roads.
And they probably don't have too many tables like that. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a Kiss table. I'm pretty sure there's an Aerosmith table. There very possibly is a Who table. Maybe even a Pink Floyd table, but I bet not.
Thursday.
And I imagine each of those tables play
Time.
snippets, if not full songs, of those content licenses, but
Overtime.
a standard table like this having even a full song is
Hey,
weird.
look, Ted. A beach party. Jerk alert.
What this comes down to is they probably should have said that Red and Ted were like brother and sister,
Wait.
or boyfriend and girlfriend. Like,
Spin the wheel.
it doesn't feel like they're boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife.
Wow. Look out.
it's a dynamic certainly you're setting up here with Red and Ted, that you're gonna have to develop these characters a lot. Where Funhouse, the main face was just a
Where's my
carnival
paycheck?
barker
Down.
saying very generic things.
Let's get
I feel like if they hadn't gotten the license and the voice acting from the country western lady, then they would have. These would have not been country western, or country in general style lines of
Spin the
dialogue.
wheel.
Alright, so they're saying spin the wheel.
Watch where you're going. Hey, look, Ted. Police.
Okay, buddy.
Officer Steve Speed.
So spinning the wheel is hitting the spinner over there on the left.
Feel like a mosquito on a Mack truck.
Fire in the hole. Great
So I don't
shot.
think I'm getting those shots right, but maybe I am.
Okay, buddy.
Let's get out of here. Fire in the hole.
The thought that you would be able to escape in a police chase driving a bulldozer is laughable. You would be better off trying to use the bulldozer to smash the cop car than run away from it.
Oh no! Flying rocks.
And there is the flying rock. And there we hit him in the head. Which I am not sure if we were supposed to hit him in the head or not. That may very well have been a skill shot to not hit him in the head.
Fire in the hole.
I'm trying to hit with the top left flipper,
Big point.
which really isn't that high up on the field. I'm trying to get it at the very edge to hit the standing
Hey, look,
targets
Ted.
on the
Mardi
right.
Gras.
I knew I should have brought more than one t-shirt. Yeehaw!
Good shot. Woo!
Yeah, I don't get the idea of
Woo!
Red and Ted working together and then going to Mardi Gras and Spring Break together. Without kind of establishing the dynamic. Is Red bisexual, lesbian? Are they in an open relationship? What's going on here? She's saying, "Hey, look,
Don't be a
Ted, Mardi
stranger.
Gras. Hey, look, Ted, Spring Break." So, unless
Let's wreck some road.
they're experiencing that together as a couple, seems like she's playing wing woman to Ted
What'd I ever do to you?
as the boss. The idea of going on a road trip with your boss in general is a weird dynamic.
Thursday. Hey,
I almost got a gold bonus there. We've gotten one goal done, but we may have to look up how they accomplish some of these other goals because
Friday.
just general gameplay
Time.
doesn't seem like it guarantees it will start the mode that I'm looking for.
Spin the wheel.
I really like the idea here of having a ramp that has gates that switches it from the
Get that
left
extra
in
ball.
lane to the right in lane.
We're eating hot dog tonight.
There's a lot of times we've had shots
Extra ball.
where now the table's shaking and that's not me, and the controller's shaking.
I'm all worn out.
Party time.
I'm shutting down.
Oh no. Keep your eyes
So now that swung up, I thought it would swing up higher, honestly.
Wake up. Oh no.
So this is the idea of falling behind the wheel.
You big lug.
And the table's just vibrating like crazy.
Hey, wake up.
Really is just taking the same idea from Funhouse, like the character falling asleep and then his
Keep
mouth
your eyes
opening.
on the road. Multi-ball.
There's our multi-ball, which I don't know if I'm supposed to be hitting Ted or if we're going for red now. Seems like Ted's still asleep, so
You big dummy.
yep.
Oh my.
Hitting Ted was the jackpot.
Right in the hole.
I wonder if this country music song was particularly a big seller. Because the problem with that is you could easily negotiate the license to a popular song that was in the top charts for a month or two, and then it would be completely forgotten about a couple months later.
Hey, look,
So,
man, a beach party.
honestly, if I was going to do music, a music-themed table,
Alert.
I'd probably look for something very, very long-lasting, like the Michael Jackson, the Prince collection, something really big. Or you get like public domain classical music, and I don't think that would be particularly interesting. See, like Ted's whistling at people in spring break, which even in 2021, it's been brought to a lot of people's attention. Apparently, they didn't realize that catcalling was unwelcome attention and not a good way of even establishing a healthy, friendly rapport with people.
Oh, no. Flying rocks.
I'm gonna try this time so that we can get a skill shot. Yeah, and I think that worked way better. Zinc pinball. I wonder what that would do. Apparently, you buy things with points. That's a concept in pinball we've never seen before.
Thursday.
Talk about insane. Suppose though that does open up a whole new dimension of gameplay if you spend points to potentially get more points later. That's quite the gamble.
Stand by for blasting.
So
Hit something.
a man is trapped in a porta potty is the mode we're in. So
Hit anything.
yeah, the game is just telling me hit anything.
Look out. You missed everything.
Wow. I don't think I'd want the game to point out that I missed everything.
So long,
300
y'all.
million's not a bad score though.
Let's wreck some roads. Tuesday.
This is a little bit busy.
We came here
Table.
for this.
Yeah, I don't know what you get if you get all the collectibles and all the things you can purchase at the souvenir shop.
Ow! Thursday. Friday.
This definitely feels like it could have been slightly inspired by Sam and Max Hit the Road, where that was a game where you drove around to a whole bunch of tourist traps. But there aren't really a lot of tourist traps in this theme. So it's not quite there. Finally, hit those standing targets once. That really didn't accomplish too much.
Overtime.
So this is kind of like a half travel theme, half construction theme, and half driving theme, which
Overtime.
would be 3 halves. Or third.
Where's my paycheck?
I don't see the point of Ted, really. I think you on this table could probably save yourself a lot of design by simply having only red.
Trick some roads.
Like,
Tuesday.
was the sexism in the development of this table so bad that they said they would not allow a female construction worker to be the only main character on the table? Or at least the big head? I mean, you could have had Ted as a character and not given him a big head. And the bulldozer.
Quitting time.
Where's my paycheck?
Was there possibly a danger in having Red as a female drive the bulldozer that's running over things? Did they feel like that would propagate stereotypes of women being bad drivers?
Put on your dancing shoes, baby.
Maybe.
Hey, look, Ted, a beach party. Jerk alert.
Oh, red.
Yeah.
Wow.
It seems like they are dating,
Fire in the hole.
but he still is kind of chauvinistic and
You look like a
And-
million plus.
will catcall / whistle at other people. Although there is still a scenario where Red and Ted are brother and sister, and she's just calling him a jerk for being a chauvinist.
Put on your dancing shoes, baby.
Fire in the hole.
Hitting the bulldozer really does not seem like it does anything.
Fire in
And
the hole.
if hitting these standing targets gives you a blast alert but then shakes the table,
Police.
it's questionable whether you really want to bother with that
Officer
shot.
speed.
All right.
Okay, buddy, pull over.
Coming through.
Seems like it's way too easy to get into that out lane. On the left. So I would like to see a kick back there. I could say sure, put a center's peg
Put on your dancing
on this
shoes,
table.
baby.
But honestly, for Williams' table, the flippers are very close together and everything's working fairly well. And if I just got a little bit better and faster at nudging things, I could probably continuously nudge the ball to safety.
Where are we?
I'm a little confused.
Flying rocks.
Hey!
Oh no.
I don't think... See, that was labeled as super skill, so I think that shot was exactly what you're supposed to do. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's actually more of a reward to go even slightly further without hitting him in the head.
Don't be a stranger.
Alright, skill shot. Just power the ball when it's launched from the plunger so it lands in the blast hole. So a really weak skill shot. Awards a free souvenir and point value. Refer to the souvenirs chapter for details. Okay, in Big Millions, each time the ball exits Bob's bunker, Big Millions is lights for a few seconds while this is lit. Hitting red scores big millions value. It's worth 5 million the first time, so we know what we're doing. Then
Time to go to work. Let's fire that thing up.
you just gotta launch very carefully.
We came here for this?
Oops.
Wednesday.
So hit that again. Not quite the right angle. Not that angle either.
Spin the wheel.
Does feel like there's probably a combo in which you could hit the ramps, 2 or 3 different ramps.
Rain.
Bad weather, return to the bunker. There definitely are some shots and some angles on the ramps that could use a little bit of improvement.
Thursday.
Honestly, I kind of feel like this table's a little annoying with its audio.
My paycheck.
The country music's not my style, and it seems like it
Hey, look, Ted.
plays
beach
only
party.
a little bit of it
Jerk
up
alert.
and before it resets. And yeah, there's definitely some angles that are problematic here.
Fire in the hole.
Where's my paycheck?
Overtime.
Come on, get the shot.
Where are we?
Look out.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna get the skill shot fairly quickly, but
Come on, y'all.
that millions may
Let's
take a
rip the
while.
road.
Huh?
Tuesday.
Although that skill shot does kind of scream fairly difficult.
Wednesday. Friday. Look out.
We need just the slightest amount of power.
Fire in the hole. Boom.
Yeah. Comparing this to Funhouse, where I think that comparison is probably the fairest, is it's not as good. That you don't have the clock
Where's my
concept. You don't have
paycheck?
a as unique character or interesting character as you do with Chucky, which is I think what his name was. They're not calling you by nickname, so they've forgotten about that idea as a concept.
Hey, look, Ted. A beach party.
Yeehaw! No, Reds.
Woo-hoo. Boom. Woo-wee.
Yeehaw!
Lots of yeehawing, lots of whistling. The skill shot was more obvious on Funhouse on the left. That
Time to go to work.
Lane's
Let's fire
shot.
that thing up.
Huh?
See, that's not enough for a skill shot either.
Fire in the hole. Boom.
It is just such a tight shot to hit that souvenir shop spinner. And if I'm gonna even have a chance to hit it with
Tuesday.
the left flipper,
Wednesday.
I'd have to very quickly flip it. Feels like that almost had that.
Thursday.
The lights outside the map of the United States feels
Jerk
similar to a board game I covered that they made a digital version. It was pretty bad and pretty expensive, the board game. Ticket to Ride was the game. And as an actual board game, I think Ticket to Ride is fine, but as the digital versions were designs, they were pretty awful
time.
and not
Where's my
recommended.
paycheck?
But in Ticket to Ride, you get these different colored train cars,
Overtime.
and the train cars would loop around different paths, much like the outline of
Where's my paycheck?
that looked much like the outline of the America. So I'm not sure that those
Payday!
light up dots mean anything
Put on your dancing shoes, baby.
or not.
I'm on Easy Street tonight.
Hey, look, Ted. Police.
And
Fire in the hole.
I'm not certain.
Officer Steve Speed.
I'm not sure if we are accomplishing things in general, or if we even have to accomplish things in general.
Let's get out of here.
Okay, buddy.
Oh, no. Flying rocks.
Boom!
Oh, no. Oh, no.
See, that's Super Skill 10 million.
Ow.
An extra ball is lit.
Get
Now,
that extra ball. We're rolling now.
I'm always rolling, baby.
Fire in the hole.
Boom! Beep-beep.
Jerk alert.
I kind of wish some of these loops would lead the ball towards hitting other things. They've made a table here where the ball won't randomly hit quite a lot of stuff,
Let's wreck some road.
which
Huh?
kind of makes this more of a pro table than you would think. But I don't really feel like this theme applies well for a pro table. I was kind of thinking this would be more of a kid-friendly table, and thus it would be easier. But both in theme with whistling at girls and in the just game flow, this feels more
Spin the
difficult.
wheel.
So let's say we saw in a pinball arcade
Time.
this table right next to Funhouse. I probably would play Funhouse for a couple hours.
Hey, look, Ted.
If I got a little bored, I might try this table once or twice, but I feel like in less than 30 minutes I'd be back to just playing Funhouse or playing something completely different
Fire in the
in
hole.
total. Because this doesn't feel like
Fire in
it's
the hole.
surpassing Funhouse or even as good as Funhouse.
Yeehaw!
Fire in the hole.
A lot of places where the ball is just bouncing and bouncing back. And this doesn't feel like a table that needs more of a gimmick or anything like that. It needs kind of a refinement,
Hey, watch where you're going.
just some Q&A, some adjustments on the angles, some deep considerate thought about, do you really need two mannequins that would talk to each other?
No. Flying rock.
Flying rock! Hey!
Yeah, it seems like the skill shot is 10 million regardless of whether you get the higher or lower ramp.
Where's my paycheck?
Pipe down.
Hmm.
Hey, look, Ted. Police.
Officer Steve Speed.
Yeah. And you run into a weird situation also with this table in that we've had some sound effects from Funhouse referenced in like Twilight Zone, and this table either would have to reference Funhouse also, or some future Williams table would have to reference Funhouse and this table, or ignore this table completely, which is probably what they would do, and simply reference Funhouse again. It may be part of the nature of pinball fans too to latch on to things and hold on to those nostalgic ideas and those nostalgic tables a lot more, so something that is kind of a spiritual sequel to Funhouse may not have been anywhere as well received as the original Funhouse. That may be the case in general. I think you would look to a table. Interesting, they don't like talk radio, which I feel like that is a direct input from them having a musician be the voice actor. Just saying blah 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 blah. That was like a 2-ball quick multi-ball. Well, that lit extra ball right as I was losing it, which that kind of sucks. And it does point out an idea that the targets to light extra balls should be in the top half of a table, not the lower half of a table. We've seen several instances where pinball table has let me collect multi-ball only to immediately drain out and have to use the multi-ball, and that never feels fun. We can see that the bulldozer on Ted does not go up and down that much, where I would have thought that it would have. Still not been able to get that skill shot. You see, twice the ball has nearly gulped and gotten a gulp shot on red, and it's not worked. And I'm wondering if that might be in part because of the physics being messed up on this in Pinball Arcade in general, running at a higher resolution of 1080p.
You will remove that bulldozer from the street.
The taxi cab guy has the stereotypical Middle Eastern accent, which, I mean, you definitely are playing up a stereotype there. I don't know what we're specifically actually blasting when we hit those standing targets. And honestly, it feels like the collectible souvenirs are so high that you are unlikely to actually collect all of them. We did rescue the worker. So I wonder if that dial at the top of the field is one of every single souvenir, and thus one of every single random reward you can get.
Good shot.
As it kind of stands now, I'm running out of things to say about this table. I'm fairly certain I never played this table in the real world. I feel like a table like this has a high chance of a lot of things being broken on it.
Let's party! Put on your dancing shoes, baby!
If anything, this kind of highlights why
Watch where you're going.
the supersonic robot was just on the backboard of Party Dudes instead of having two heads that would talk to each other and interact as equals. What you can't do with this concept, and it seems like this is what they're trying to do, is have a scenario where this would just grow and grow and there would be more characters and more characters with automated faces on the table. Which theoretically I could see yourself getting 3 of them on the table. But I don't see a real reason for that. And the game is glitched. Alright.
Let's wreck some road.
46 minutes in, I'm still struggling to get a skill shot and the bonus millions, which requires me to hit the ball with this flipper through the spinner like that, and then when it comes out, get the right angle.
Hey, that's neat. Tuesday.
And I couldn't, and then I just drained down again. It's kind of an example of where a ball saver needs to kick back in as a concept.
Wednesday.
Whenever anything is hit, the ball saver should blink for a few seconds if it's at the top of the play field.
Thursday.
Like, I wouldn't mind a pinball table where there was a major emphasis on keeping and growing a ball saver timer.
Quitting time.
Where's my paycheck?
Something that would be kind of like a sudden death pinball table,
Look out.
around the concept of sudden death. It's a little surprising that there hasn't been a baseball table theme or a football table theme or soccer table
Overtime.
theme that was good enough to be in the curation. There's other arcade machines that simulate soccer and foosball and football, so that in part might have been why nobody bothered to make a theme around sports. And there were older wooden baseball themed pinball tables that aren't very much even pinball tables.
Let's get on down to Bob's.
But
Tuesday.
skill shot seems to be nearly impossible to pull off.
Wednesday.
I've been very successful in pretty much every other pinball table as far as getting skill shots, and not really had to struggle on more than a couple of them. So for this skill shot to be so difficult to get right,
Fire in the
that
hole.
does, I think, highlight that it's poorly designed.
Hot shooting, partner. Hey, look, Ted.
And that's what I feel more than anything else is this theme is fine. A second pass maybe would have made a slightly
Watch
more
where you're going.
understandable or relatable theme, but the game flow, the shots are completely off in my opinion. They're just not playable.
I am not afraid of you.
Hey,
You have not heard
There we go, we got the big millions. So what you would want to do at this point is just shoot for skill shots and only skill shots. Is that the skill shot? No, probably not. It's probably more than that.
Overtime.
Yeah, is there anything you can really do
All right.
now that you've gotten all but one standard goal? I don't think you can. There's also some weirdness on this table because it feels like there's about 12 missions, and yet
Hey, watch where you're
it
shooting,
feels like
buddy.
we've really only been able to start 4 or 5 missions. So there are either locations on the map that aren't actually associated with missions, and you just travel to an area and move forward, or there's a whole second tier of missions like gladiators that you can't access until you've done the previous tier of missions.
Hey, look, Ted. Mardi Gras.
I knew I should have brung more than one t-shirt. Heads up.
I assume we're
Oh, flying rock.
trying to
Fire in
just
the hole.
hit
Boom.
everything.
Hey. Fire in the hole. Boom.
There's a slight weirdness, I would say, also to having Red be a character on the table. Shoving a ball down the throat of
Big
a
point.
male feels a little bit different in my mind than shoving a ball down the throat of a female. Although, really, there probably shouldn't be any difference there.
Hey, a rainbow.
Wow.
They didn't take the concept that I thought would have been cool to implement, is have a character always chewing gum and thus having a pinball in his or her mouth to start with, magnetically held there, and then you knocked it out of their mouth. Or what you expand on this idea is you have drop down teeth, and you break the teeth out of people. You could have like a boxing themed table. Although that might be just a little too violent, frankly, if you're knocking the teeth out of people.
Ow, you big cheeseburger.
Where's my paycheck? Hey, payday! Let's party! Put on your dancing shoes,
We've
baby!
noticeably locked multi-ball several times, locked the balls towards multi-ball, but not
Baby!
actually only started multi-ball but once.
Payday.
Oh, I'm all worn out.
Party time.
I'm shutting down.
Oh no. Ted? Way to go.
So, to start multi-ball, we need that center lane shot. And if we don't start multi-ball with the center lane shot, then we're just doomed. See what happens if we hit that. Can we get a center lane shot from the plunger?
You big lug. You big dummy. Hey, I said stop.
Let's see.
Ted? Keep your eyes on the road.
Would you want to make fun of narcolepsy here and have a character that just falls asleep at random?
Multi-ball.
Yeah, I just feel like they felt the need to not have it be themed in such a way that you put someone to sleep because it's just nighttime.
Wake up!
Because you've moved the clock forward.
Hurry up! Tuesday!
Where are we?
You missed everything!
So then I guess
Hey,
we were
look,
just
Ted, Chicago!
I hate toll roads.
suppose we're just
Way to go!
doing more missions.
Woo-wee!
Yeah, we can either do more missions or we can try and
Stand by for blasting.
focus for a whole nother multi-ball.
Ah! Fire in the hole!
Blowing up
Outstanding.
toll roads is an interesting thing.
Back to work!
We're on our way, baby.
Kind of, you could have had like speed traffic
Fire in the
cameras
hole!
as a theme in this table. You could have also had it in High Speed 2. I'm sure traffic cameras, though not as prevalent a thing in 1993
My paycheck.
or 94.
Overtime!
That is another thing that people certainly are irritated with.
Where are we?
Ow! What'd I ever do to you?
The storm is coming.
There is a sound effect from the whirlwind. Williams is now just creating a Williams cinematic universe, as it were, around
Spin the wheel!
several different tables.
We're rolling now!
I'm always Hey, payday! Let's
Hmm.
party! Put on your dancing shoes, baby!
And it says "Let's party," but I half wonder if the original thought was that he was going to take his paycheck and spend it at a strip joint,
Where are we?
because that's really where this would go. Is that construction workers would more than likely be fairly dirty individuals willing to go to strip joints and spend their paycheck or bars and drink themselves into a stupor. Of course, that's a stereotype, but I think it's a slightly earned stereotype. I got the score multiplier up to like 4x on that ball. I don't know how I did that. Is that the number of missions you have to do? Yeah, I think I'd probably end up just spending another 30 minutes
Let's fire that
trying to
thing
get
up.
this standard goal done. And
Hey, look, Ted,
and then
taxi cabs.
at that point, once I have wizard goals, I'd have to probably be forced to figure out more of the elements of the table.
Yeehaw!
I am not afraid of you.
Spin the wheel! Yeehaw! Yeehaw!
I am not
See, I just don't imagine kids would relate to road rage incidences
I am not afraid of you.
as a concept, or traffic, or anything like that. So this is just an oddly themed table. And I'm trying to think, is there a specific TV show that would have been able to be made from these two characters, Red and Ted? I
Tuesday,
just don't see it.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Hot shooting, partner.
if Red and Ted were real people, they would have like a home remodeling channel, and that would be it. They'd be on one of the late cable channels, flipping houses or things like that.
Fire in the hole. Nice shot. Hey, look, Ted. Mardi Gras.
I knew I should have brought World
But
War t-shirt.
I don't think that there's much overlap as far as fans of home flipping, home improvement shows,
Yeehaw.
and pinball. Enough that even in 2021, I don't think if you had the Property Brothers themed pinball table, it would make any sense, or anything else. There's
Hey, rocks.
the long-running,
Oh, no.
what was
Flying rock!
home improvement show, sort of, that really isn't a home improvement show so much. What is that one called? This Old House? Yeah.
Woo-wee. Woo-wee.
So, yeah. A couple of characters running, like Red and Ted, running a This Old House type series would have made more sense in 1994. But This Old House is a little too dull on purpose to give major personalities to any of the people that work with them.
Party!
Payday.
You see, these are like big construction people driving bulldozers
Shutting down.
more than they are
Oh, no.
just interior remodelers or anything like that.
Fire in the hole. Boom.
Why do I have only one ball? It's because I guess I haven't actually started.
What'd I ever do to you?
Yeah, I don't think I've actually started multi-ball
Get that extra ball.
yet.
Keep your eyes on the
She
road.
said get that extra ball, but for a second there I thought she said you fed
You
extra
keep
balls.
love.
Which, yeah, that wouldn't make any sense.
Good shot.
Slightly
Oh,
too
no.
many
Extra ball.
too many cases of the ball coming out of the right
Big
scoop.
love.
There was a bleh
My, that was
instead of a gulp.
terrible.
Hmm. See, the weird thing here with the extra ball though is I still don't really know the amount of power one would want to have to hit it with
Hey,
to
watch
get the
where
ball
you're shooting, buddy.
up the middle, if you can even get the ball all the way up the middle.
Keep your eyes on the road.
The 2 or 3 times I've gotten the ball into Ted's mouth, it's been pure accident.
It's a dud. Extra ball.
Another extra ball can be used now.
Wake up. Hey.
I almost ended up in his mouth.
Ted.
It's such a long shot. You've got to get that power
You
just
big dummy.
perfect if you're gonna make it. And honestly, I just don't think you should ever have a shot this long. And if you're gonna have shots that long, then you probably should have a adjustment on the pitch to adjust for that.
Hurry up.
I totally missed every single shot. So now I have the
Ted.
consolation prize of a 2-ball multi-ball, which I didn't immediately messed up.
Spin the wheel. Wednesday.
Wow, look at that bounce. And that's exactly why you wouldn't want a flipper that low to the table at that kind of angle. This is another one of these tables where I'm not doing terrible even when I really don't know what I'm doing. Seems to be any shot will get you a decent amount of points as long as you can keep the ball in play.
Lunchtime. Hey, look, Ted. Chicago.
I hate toll roads.
Big point. Go
So
get him, Ted.
we were trying to blow up the toll roads. It doesn't feel like there's a video mode here on this table, which I feel like every table at this point should have at least one video mode. It would make
Good shot.
it'd be easy enough to do. They simply have a driving mini game where you drive the bulldozer.
Where's my paycheck?
Overtime.
Yeah, once again the ball just drains. And I just cannot get the shots between overshooting it and undershooting it.
Party! Put on your dancing shoes, baby!
I guess the theme here is that you're paying Ted for his work, and he's racking up overtime and hours, but that's very, very unrelatable to kids, and it's not something I think even adults really want to think about. I couldn't imagine working a hard job and then coming and playing this table and having it talk about overtime and pay. That just doesn't feel like that would be fun.
Fire in the hole. Thursday. We're rolling now.
Ah, man.
Wow.
They just don't do enough with red at all.
Don't be a stranger.
They clearly thought of the name and that was it. And it doesn't even feel like the country western lady has a male companion. So it lands in the blast hole. This is the skill shot, so you are trying to hit it at the halfway point. And even in the table history of this table, you kind of know you're not really gonna be too interested in the lady. I think a nudge is the only way this is gonna work. Is that we're just gonna have to nudge the ball that way so it bounces off against a wall. Or nudge it that way. And I'll try and get shots. So that I can get free balls and have 6 chances at it. Almost got it in that case. Yeah, I'm gonna get this skill shot like once in my lifetime at most, because it's totally not a skill shot worth trying for.
Let's wreck some road.
Finally.
Hey, look, Ted, taxi cabs.
You will remove that bulldozer from the street.
Is that bothering you, darling?
Go get him, Ted. Spin the
If anything,
wheel.
Red and Ted kind of come off as psychopaths because they're basically willing to murder people in a big construction bulldozer.
Look out!
You have not got the last of me.
Oddly, there's no detour. The word detour is not spelled here. There's no flag duty. There's no safety harness. In 2021, you would definitely mention having to wear a safety harness, a safety vest.
The biggest bang for your buck, baby.
Flares should be a theme. Asphalt should be used as a word.
Thursday.
Ironically, they pour new asphalt on roads when it is
Here goes the
usually
paycheck
fairly hot. So it's a very dangerous job as far as heat stroke being a risk. But then it's also a fairly dangerous job as far as just people hitting the road construction workers. Usually road construction work is done by whole teams of at least 5 or 6 people, not just 2.
We'll fix that.
The porta potty idea is interesting,
Everything.
and honestly it probably would have been more interesting to have a porta potty on the table than a second personality head.
Fire in the hole. Outstanding.
The hard hat hit could have been done better.
Where are we?
I think you probably would want to expand this theme to general construction and have like a nail gun, a hand saw,
Where's my paycheck?
like pneumatic compressors, screwdrivers, hammers. Like you could get some very generic tools, and then that would be better.
Where's my paycheck?
Pipe down. Hey, look, Ted.
And see, if I do
Mardi
really good on this
I knew I
this
should've brought
game,
more
it
than
doesn't
one
really even
t-shirt.
matter. I should just let the ball drain.
Gras. Wow.
Looking at the video of the Mardi Gras, it looks like he's driving the bulldozer through Mardi Gras, which, if that was the theme, then there should be screams of fear playing. And it seems like they're trying to make reference to some other characters from other pinball tables, or they've just decided to be funny and have an Eskimo and Mardi Gras.
So long, y'all.
Yeah, I don't know about this table. It's not like it's really trying to sell on sex, so it feels like they were trying to say, hey, women can be in construction too, and women can be the boss, and that's cool and all. And I feel like there probably is a feminist push here from this country western singer being the voice actor. But I feel like a lot of people in the theme designing also just didn't quite have a theme and didn't quite get it, and weren't 100% on board, because she, as a character, really does not play any role other than just talking. It definitely feels like Ted was the design at first, then they negotiated the voice acting of this character, and then they added her real quick, and then they said, well, we've already designed and built Ted's. Looking at the table, like the other toys you have here are just a boombox. You have these street lights that feel more in place in a high-speed 3 than anything. And see, this is Bob's something, so that feels like it would have been Bob and Ted. That's Bob's souvenir shop. Yeah. I just kind of don't get it. Alright, for Wizard Goal, you would want to score Big Blast, earn a special, activate Construction Mania, score 125 million jackpot, and activate Super Payday. So, if the blast targets are lit for Big Blast, shooting the blast zone scores 5 times the current blast value. Big Blast is by hitting the ball once it falls into the exit during the flying rocks. Or lighting Big Blast. That is going to be hard. Gold Pinball Souvenir. Super Payday mode is active when 20, 100, or 255 blasts are collected. 255, a very high number. That's the highest integer you can have for an 8-bit number. 0 to 255, 256 different numbers. 2 to the power of 8. So maybe I can't do that. Construction Mania. When Bob's souvenir is lit, shooting Bob's bunker starts cycling through the souvenirs on display before randomly selecting it. Before it starts cycling through the souvenirs, the display will show a sign. If the sign says a uranium ore $3 a chunk, immediately engage both flippers to activate Construction Mania. This mode lasts for 20 seconds while it's activated. All switches. That is crazy that there would be a secret mode in a pinball table. You definitely don't need Easter eggs in pinball tables. People aren't going to play them that much. That feels very much inspired by something like these secret characters that were added in later or hidden at the beginning of like Mortal Kombat. But it makes a lot more sense that there'd be secret characters in a fighting game like Mortal Kombat than a secret mode in a pinball table. Let's see. To get 125 jackpot, advance the day of the week to Friday. How do you do that? These lamps indicate the current day. A new game starts on Monday. Each hit on the bulldozer advances to the next day. It does not advance the day of the week if any of the city event modes are active. Once the day of the week is advanced to Friday, the lock light lits, so you have to hit the center lane like 5 times to lock one ball. Once the lock is lit, locking 2 balls by shooting the Bob's bunker. Once 2 balls are locked, the bulldozer rises to reveal an open mouth, which kind of indicates that there's no reason for him to have a lower mouth at all, because it never is going to block a ball. That does 3-ball multi-ball. Shoot Ted in the mouth. I guess it does block at that point when you're in 3-ball multi-ball. Maybe a little. Shoot a ball in the Ted's mouth to score jackpot. Once the jackpot is scored from Ted, the next jackpot is scored by shooting red. The jackpot continues to toggle between red and Ted each time it's scored. First multi-ball is worth 40 million, and then each hit to the bulldozer increases it by 5 million up to 75 million points. Well, wait a minute. Then how do we get to 125 million points? Thought I was done, but you can get it to 75 million points. When red is the jackpot shot, the bulldozer blade remains lowered, making it easier to build up the jackpot value. The second time the multi-ball is activated, the jackpot starts at 65 million and raises to 100 million. Each subsequent multi-ball is activated. The jackpot starts at 75 million, can be raised up to 125 million. So you have to start 3 multi-balls on the table. And then what's Super Payday? Activated when any of the West Coast events modes, which arguably, yeah, I seemingly haven't made it past the 3rd or 4th event from the East Coast going to the West Coast. And it seems like there are just ways in which the lines diverge. And so it doesn't seem like you actually will do all the events on the table. The West Coast city events are Alien Invasion in Seattle, Monster Attack in San Francisco, and Earthshaker in Los Angeles. This is, once again, a reference to Earthshaker. This whole table feels like it's just taking a lot of leftover components from other tables. To activate Super Payday, first lock the ball in Bob's Bunker. If the time for the currently active West Coast City mode is less than 10 seconds away, it resets to 10 seconds once the ball is locked. Lock a second ball in there, and the city hole at Bob's Bunker, the city hole, or the blast hole. This sends a third ball to the plunger and activates Super Payday. Launch that ball into play. Super Payday is normally a 3-ball mode, but it's possible to play it as a 4-ball mode. There are 3 ways to accomplish that. Skill shots. Several things you can do to get a 4-ball multi-ball, but you just have to activate Super Payday.
Time to go to work. Let's fire that thing up.
So honestly, I think I just want to play
Tuesday.
one more game, and then we'll cheat, and for just so we cheat on all the tables,
Spin
and we'll
the
call it
wheel.
a day. So it seems like you always start in the lower right-hand corner of Florida,
Hey, look, Ted.
and then you
taxi cab.
work your way
You will
towards
climb up
the
that bulldozer from
left
the
on the
street.
map.
Is that bothering you, darling?
Go get him, Ted. Spin the wheel.
So I would argue that the problem here is the table
Isn't that special?
itself is just too complicated with its missions, and it's not random in missions that are unlocked. So there's a lot of missions here that most players will never see.
You have destroyed my taxi cab.
Yeehaw!
You have destroyed my taxi cab.
Yeehaw!
You have destroyed.
While we're in this mode,
Get on down to Bob.
I can't move the day forward.
We're on our way, baby.
Oh my!
So there I just earned a special. That was fairly easy. Doesn't seem like there's any top lane multipliers or like rollovers
Where's my
or
paycheck?
I don't know if there's even really lane control. Doesn't seem like there
Overtime.
is.
Where are we? Let's get paid and lock one on.
Too many souvenirs,
Overtime.
too difficult missions. What I'm really hating though is the fact that I know I'm just never going to be able to play
Where's my paycheck?
the Super Mario Brothers pinball table. That would never be licensed anywhere. Basically, somebody would have to
Payday!
decide to
Party!
full on
Put on
just
your dancing shoes, baby.
commit complete copyright infringement. And
Let's
while that
party!
table is maybe not the best table ever,
Party time!
Super Mario Brothers as a pinball table is very relevant in that it was a shorter table for little kids. It was lower to the ground, I believe, and shorter in length from front to back. And it's Mario related.
Don't be a stranger.
Okay, let's ball control and operator mode, and let's see what we get from operator mode. I'd have a hard time suspecting that much would change. Anyways. You have blink eyes, you could turn that on or off. You could change percentages. I feel like all these tables should have attract sounds turned on, but they seem to have a lot of them that don't by default. Arguably, I think I like Earthshaker better than this table. I think the shots are easier on Earthshaker. You can completely disable 10 red, which I don't know how the table really plays at that point. I think if you disable them at a certain point, you're going to have to just open their mouth permanently. Oddly, yeah, it's not really saying anything new there. I'm not surprised. Alright, let's see if we can start a game. Or if it's just gonna glitch. It's gonna glitch. Even though I didn't even change anything.
Let's wreck some
So,
road.
if we have ball control, that seems to give us extra speed regardless.
Hey, look, Ted, taxi cabs.
You will remove that bulldozer from the street.
Is that
So with
bothering you, darling?
ball
Go
control,
get 'em, Ted.
what are we trying to hit? This? Up here. To the bunker.
Hey,
You have destroyed my taxi cab.
I just glitched right through her face.
You have...
fire in the hole. Boom! We're rolling now.
I'm always rolling, baby.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Hey, what'd I ever do to you?
Where's my paycheck?
Yeah, we're just
Where are we?
trying to start as many different things as possible so that we might be able to see some different things.
Where's my paycheck?
Pipe down. Hey,
Get big millions.
Let's get paid and lock one
There's
on.
just kind of bad shots here to start a mission.
hey, look, Ted, Mardi Gras.
Seems like
I knew I
every
should've
shot
reworked one
is
t-shirt.
over there in the mid right of the table to start a mission, when arguably hitting a ramp would also feel reasonable,
Baby!
or hitting a ramp a couple of times would feel reasonable.
Fire in the hole. Boom! Woo-wee! Woo! Woo!
Yeah, I don't think I
Hey, watch
can
where you're shooting, buddy.
finish
Overtime.
an entire mission there.
Back to work.
We're on our way,
And
baby.
when I hit like a slingshot, does that change what city you're going to? Nope.
Hey!
So I'm not sure if there's anything that actually would change your next destination. Maybe some of these ramps I can't hit.
Payday! Let's party! Put on your dancing shoes, baby! We're eating high off the hog tonight!
Let's go and start another multi-ball.
Ow! You big cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. I have no idea what that means.
Hey, look, Ted. Chicago.
I hate toll roads.
We'll fix that.
So,
Hey!
want me to go up this ramp.
Stand by for blasting.
They want me to hit, I think this.
Go get him, Ted.
I don't know if I can hit this. I don't know if those are standing targets or not. I don't think they are.
Woo-hoo! We're on payday.
Oh, I'm all worn out.
Party time.
I'm shutting down.
Oh, no.
And there's the multi-ball.
Multi-ball.
I'm sure ball control, I suppose, would help you
Yeah.
potentially
Oh,
succeed.
my. Hey, jerk. Oh, my.
This is a table I think you could probably cheat very
Oh,
well
my.
to get lots of multi-balls.
Hey,
Yeah, one of the things I'd say here is I really don't appreciate
how can you eat these?
the way they use her music is used. It's just not a finished product.
Big dummy. Hey,
And the whole game is just like, that's like the maximum we can hit. So not really worth it to have the multi-ball go any further. Alright, that should
I feel like I've been rode hard
end the
way wet.
end of the multi-ball.
fire in the hole. It's a dud.
Where are we?
Let's move on to the next city.
The storm is coming.
Tornado in Kansas.
To your homes.
And then this multi-ball. I'm not sure what we're really aiming for.
Get that extra ball.
Did light an extra ball.
Ow! Now I'm getting mad.
See, there's a hole here where that feels like that should be the extra ball, but it didn't lock. Let's go ahead and drain a ball because I don't think there's anything else you can do.
Back to work.
We're on our way, baby.
I didn't see anything that
Hey,
said
that's
uranium. We're up to 1 billion cheating, which arguably it feels like it could have been a lot more. It definitely feels like getting to the bunker should also let you purchase either multiple souvenirs, which would be weird, or it would let you potentially just
Tuesday.
move the,
Wednesday. Thursday.
at least purchase a collectible every time you hit the
Quitting time.
bunker.
Where's my paycheck?
Overtime.
This would be your next multi-ball move.
Payday! Let's party! Put on your dancing shoes, baby!
Yeah.
Where
I'm
are
just
we?
still trying to start different modes.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Quitting time.
When he says, "Where are we?" that's when we're in a new city. So we're selling our souvenirs for points. Which that seems crazy. That you would collect the souvenirs and then sell the souvenirs.
I'm always rolling, baby. Party time! Woo!
Fire in the hole. Fire in the hole.
Boom! Hee-hee!
Payday.
Ooh, put a fork in me, baby. I'm done.
Party time.
I'm shutting down.
Oh,
The next area you're gonna go to, as far as the city, doesn't seems to be fairly random. It doesn't seem like you have to do 2 in each row or anything specific special there. And since this is the second multi-ball, probably is best suited to simply let at least one ball drain. There we go.
wake up. Hurry up.
While we're waiting for something to happen, I suppose we'll
Hey, wake up.
waiting for the countdown to end. So we don't start another multi-ball, although starting another multi-ball probably would have fed into the idea fairly nicely.
Hey, that's neat.
Oh, so what it does is it highlights uranium as one of the items, and then you have to
Dig in,
basically
darling.
hit both flippers.
Well,
So-
start digging.
I'm trying.
We have a different mode here.
Fire in the hole.
Boom! Hee-hee!
Jerk alert.
See, I don't know what triggered the jerk alert
Fire
then.
in the hole. It's a dud. Good shot.
This is a boring mission.
We're rolling now.
I'm always rolling, baby.
Hey, that's
So
neat.
I think I've got it figured out. I just have to actually be
Watch where
able
you're
to
going.
start that extra mode. So I kind of
Fire in the
suspect
hole.
uranium is always going to be an option. So what do I need to hit to start another city?
Where are we?
Seems like it's just the standing targets need to be hit to hit the Star City.
I have returned for you, Mr. Bulldozer Man!
Oh, not him again. Go get him, Ted.
So now we're doing a shootout. Interesting.
Oh, I hate it when this happens!
We're rolling
So
now.
he's just straight up your
Rolling, baby.
your enemy. Always.
Hey, let's get a souvenir.
Trying to get up this shot. Since that seems to be what it always wants you to do.
Wednesday.
Nearly drained out there.
Oh, my.
Let's get on down to Bob's.
Okay. Start another city, I guess.
Hey, look, Ted. New
Earthshaker.
road. We'll fix that. Fire in the hole.
Wham!
Seems like during Earthshaker, you're once again just trying to hit that.
Let's
For the
keep
shaker
going.
lock 1. And it feels like it's playing music from Earthshaker. And see, that visual there is something that you would definitely would have wanted to have created for a modernized version of Earthshaker, where the whole world cracks apart. Alright, so we've got a whole special multi-ball.
Yeah. How can you eat these things?
He's not opening his mouth, but you can see why the bulldozer would go up and down.
New York City.
So yeah, unless you're supposed to
Stop.
get them to scream and then get the ball in the mouth when they're screaming, which I just did.
Hey.
I don't know if there's really much of more of a goal here. No, it seems like you're just supposed to hit the ramps.
Kansas City.
She's naming cities.
My fuse is lit.
Wow. Albuquerque. Butte.
Yeah, she's just naming things left and right.
Yeah. How can you eat these things?
There was a ball in her mouth that was stuck. I didn't even know that.
Just an
Notice that.
average day on the job.
Boom. Thursday.
When I hit the ramp here, does she say city? No. Yeah, and it just doesn't seem reasonable that you would actually collect all the souvenirs. Those clearly are just random items that are unnecessary.
$1 million plus.
Up to 2 billion cheating.
Fire in the hole. Boom.
Doing that lets us start another city.
Hey, look, Ted, a beach party. Jerk alert.
Oh, red.
Maybe it's not Ted that's whistling. I didn't think of that. I suppose it could be that somebody else is whistling at red. But
What'd I ever do to you?
if that's the case, well then you almost need Ted to say what a jerk. Nope. Ted's
Wow.
lips are moving when he whistles. So you can't make that mistake.
Quitting time.
Where's my paycheck? Hey, payday! Let's party! Put on your dancing shoes, baby!
It's just kind of nothing going on. So,
Tuesday.
what can we do to start another city?
Here goes the paycheck again.
Well, what I think starts the city, and we've been playing for an hour and 44 minutes. Yeah, this is too complicated a game.
Fire in the hole.
That going up there starts the city.
Special.
for blasting. See? That didn't hurt a bit.
See, that's just a hurry up mode.
We're rolling now.
I'm always rolling, baby.
Way to go.
Alright, but what starts the city now? Because hitting that ramp
Fire in the
didn't.
hole.
Apparently you have to hit the ramp a couple times. See, I don't know if there's just some cities that have been drawn there that you can't light up, which I don't think that's the case, or if this is or if this is just a really extreme goal to potentially start so many city
Hey, look, Ted.
Modes.
Mardi Gras.
I knew I should have brung more than one t-shirt.
What this implies too is that once you get to the West Coast cities, you then just kind of go in circles. Yeah, and you definitely are just rolling over people with the bulldozer,
Yeehaw.
which is fairly violent.
Yeehaw!
Alright, so let's try this again. Hit
Fire in
this,
the hole.
and
Fire in
then
the
hit
hole.
that again.
Where are we?
And that got Start City blinking.
It's talk radio.
Change the station.
So what are you even trying to hit here? It's saying hit the radio target.
Hey. Change the station.
Which is pretty much impossible to even hit the radio station or the radio target, as it's such a weird angle.
Change the station.
Come on.
Change the station. Hey, watch where you're shooting, buddy. Hey!
Like, I'm really trying to succeed here
Change the station.
and get it to launch and hit the radio target, but I don't think I'm really doing it.
Station!
It feels like this just goes on forever.
Station.
Ow! Stop!
If I get this skill shot sneak in, I think that gives me a lot of souvenirs.
Fire in the hole!
I
Fire in
have
the hole!
no idea where this would actually go.
Fire in the hole!
Another city.
Oh no, he's back.
You will pay for your impudence!
Let's get out of here.
So he comes. The Indian taxi cab guy comes after you in 3 different modes.
Ow! Yeah, how can you eat these things?
What would be really cool is if they figured out a way to time lines of dialogue for this table, so that if both tables were started at the same time, this in Funhouse, this new table would say things as if talking to the other table.
Thursday.
Like that would be some genius design, certainly. But it would only really work if both tables had been started at the same time, or you had some kind of microphone that could recognize a specific line of dialogue or two, which in 1994 you wouldn't have been able to pull that off.
Put a fork in me, baby. I'm done.
Party time.
I'm shutting down.
Oh no.
So I might as well start a multi-ball here and then just end it again. This is probably the 4th or 5th multi-ball. This would be the one where you would try to get its score improved as much as possible to get that high jackpot by hitting the bulldozer. Jackpot of 110, 115, 120, 125. Jackpot is now maxed. Hit her. And that is the max jackpot. And it's really more of a factor of
I feel like I've been rode hard and put away wet.
of getting 3 multi-balls than anything else. Shoot the left ramp. The one ramp I can't hit. Well, while we're waiting for this. Yeah, it seems like there's just this road up here that doesn't do anything.
Fire in the hole.
Alright.
We're rolling now.
I'm always rolling, baby.
Trying to get
Fire in the
another
hole.
city to start.
Fire in the hole. Hey, look, Ted.
Las
Slot
Vegas
machine.
slot machines.
There goes Friday's paycheck.
Hey, that works.
And pretty much hit that ramp again.
The biggest bang for your buck, baby.
Don't hold back.
Yeah, I think you're probably supposed to
Hey,
hit
that
this.
We're rolling
We have
now.
maybe 2
I'm
more
always rolling,
cities
baby.
to show off.
Fire in the hole.
Super complicated. Like, compare this to the 8 missions of Star Trek The Next Generation. This is way, way too much. You've got 9, 10, maybe 11. Yeah, we've got a giant Godzilla attack.
Let's
A
keep
monster
going.
lock. So it's very possible, very much a possibility that you would have a monster attack multi-ball, which I'm not sure if that's what I just did, is started a different multi-ball for Super Payday mode. I think I may very well have.
Miami.
When
Nashville.
you're in-
Dallas.
Seems like they're naming a lot of places.
Miami. Atlanta. Nashville. Way to go. Denver. Las Vegas.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a real reason she's naming different locations though.
How can you eat these things? Atlanta.
Yeah, if I've somehow managed to not get to Super Payday at this point, I don't know what
Nashville.
I'd be looking for.
Hey, stop it.
It does seem like it's lighting up all of the bonuses in the ring at the top.
Jerk alert.
Let's see. Interesting that it took a moment. So you have like one blinking reward, 1 or 2 blinking rewards.
Denver. timber.
on the top circle, if that's what I'm supposed to be looking at.
Hey! Las Vegas.
If anything, it seems like what they're really doing here is they're just trying to highlight every single area that you could have visited and use that sound file again. You could have given more lines of dialogue, definitely, to the voice actor. I don't know if there's anything else that I can do. There we go. Let's just let that end.
Just an average day on the job.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole!
There should be 2 more cities at most.
Hey, look, Ted.
New York
Taxi
City
cab.
Smash a
Remove
Cab.
that bulldozer from
Maybe
the street.
3 more cities.
Is that bothering you, darling?
Go get him, Ted.
But this does kind of highlight that you may not even see the Smash a Cab character.
You have destroyed my taxi cab.
I hate rain. Extra ball!
And there definitely have been other tables where
I am not afraid of you.
I've not seen everything because the ball control wouldn't let me cheat. At least on this table there's so few ramps that you can get away from it.
Wow!
So that's the way you succeed at bad weather.
You have not heard the last of me.
We're rolling now.
That was it for the New York.
Fire in the hole!
And if this starts a city we've already done, and that'd be weirded out by it.
Ted. Mardi Gras!
I
Yep.
knew I should have brought
It did
more than one
just start
t-shirt.
another city. So, aliens attacking Seattle. How do we start that mission? What do we do to
Fire in the hole!
highlight that?
Fire in the hole!
Coming through.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Woo-wee!
It stopped the timer for a while. There we go. So yeah, I think I have to basically go up this ramp until it flashes something new.
Get on down the bow.
Wednesday!
Let's get
Which
on down
pretty
the bow.
much means you have an incredibly low chance of getting the ball to where you want it to go.
Friday! Quitting time!
Where's my paycheck?
It actually seems like it's toggling between a few different places. So maybe those are places we haven't actually done in this game.
Paid and lock
So let's just do them.
It's talk radio.
That doesn't seem right. Just let the ball draw in. Wait till the timer resets. There we go.
Back to work!
We're on our way, baby.
Fire in the hole! It's a dud! Fire in the hole!
There's
It's a
absolutely
dud.
no way you'd get all the cities lit up.
Oh no, he's back.
You will pay for your impudence.
Let's get out of here.
You cannot prevail against me.
15,
Watch for your shoot,
14,
buddy.
13,
You cannot prevail
11,
against me.
6, 5, 4,
Cannot prevail against me.
Fire in the hole.
3,
It's a dud.
Blam! Where are we?
Oh, Ted.
yeah, that "Oh Ted" sound effect definitely implies to me that they were a couple.
Where's my paycheck?
Hey, look, Ted.
Minneapolis
Frozen people.
frozen people. We've never seen this one before.
Fix that.
Eskimos. And how do you thaw the frozen people?
Fire in the hole. It's a dud.
Shooting stand-up targets, I guess. Not those stand-ups though. So no clue what the goal was on that one even was.
Fire in the hole. We're
Yeah, there's
rolling
definitely a
down.
problem when you have a table
Baby.
that has modes that even in 2 hours of playing, you're not potentially going to see.
It's a dud.
Hmm.
Hey, look, Ted. Go.
Wow. And even with ball control, the game still managed to kind of screw me. If you keep the souvenirs, they're worth a lot
Big punch.
at the end of the table. I feel like my score rolled over at some point. It's 120 million.
Overtime.
Seems like a ridiculously low number. Yeah, that was just the bonus, was 120 million, I
Fire in
guess.
the hole. What are they digging for here?
Let's dig in, darling.
Yeah, I was totally wrong about the idea of them
I'm trying.
having only 2 or 3 levels. 10.
Fire in the hole. Fire in the hole.
2, 1, 0.
We've been on a jackalope hunt, baby.
Fire in the hole. Fire in the hole.
Where are we?
Yeah, it does just feel like we're going in circles and that 2 of the modes just don't want to unlock. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is a case where you'd have to get
Hey, look, Ted. Slot machine.
There
lucky.
goes Friday's paycheck. The biggest bang for your buck, baby.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, we've done like 24 cities. That's a ridiculously high number. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Biggest bang for your buck, baby.
Fire in the hole.
Finally.
Where are we?
Finally, we got the Seattle city blinking. Let's start it for the
Hey, look,
alien
Ted.
invasion.
Aliens.
And it still feels like there's
Like you, Red.
still.
Hey, Ted. Time to hide.
And those were aliens. I didn't even realize that's what they were.
Run away.
We're just gonna get super payday if we
I don't want to run them over.
hit them.
Stop it.
You little guys ain't they, Red?
Maybe the aliens are a bit of a reference to the Twilight Zone pinball table.
Oops.
That starts Super Payday again. We just get that clip of the same song again.
New York City.
Just an average day on the job.
Alright. So the question is there a city there that lights up? Which it seems like there would be.
Stop.
How many times would we potentially have to hit a ramp to do it? So,
Overtime.
yeah,
Hey, look, Ted. Taxi cabs.
You will remove that bulldozer from the street.
Is that bothering
and I
you,
guess
darling?
it's nice that there isn't a wizard goal to get all the cities done, because there's basically zero chance that you would actually pull that off. And that's not inherently terrible pinball design. Having a unique, different game every time you play feels very much like a rogue elements, like the game Rogue, the video game Rogue. So I could see that being a sales
Lunchtime.
pitch. I guess you get a new city every
What's going on?
few hundred miles, and you get a new miles every time you go through a ramp.
Where's my paycheck?
Pipe down. Hey, look, Ted. Mardi Gras.
I knew I should have
But
brought
yeah.
more than one T-shirt.
There's no way. Like, even cheating, it's gonna take another 20 minutes, I think, to go through different
Woo.
areas and try again to light that one area, one city, which we've probably already seen that city done. And it seriously doesn't feel like there's any reward you would get.
Hey.
Coming through.
Back to work.
We're on our way, baby.
It's like the game is teasing me
Where
by
are we?
blinking
Overtime.
different cities around the one I want it to blink.
Let's get paid and lock one on.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some tables out there where
Yuck. How can you eat these things?
where some of the elements are removed later on, and you can't actually do all the modes that are painted on the table.
Pipe down.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it
Hey,
just
look,
wants me
Ted.
to
Chicago.
be in that general area.
Toll roads.
We'll fix that. Woo-wee.
Let's see, what would we have to hit
Stand by for
to
blasting.
blow up more toll roads? You just wouldn't have enough time really to hit them all.
Go get him, Ted. Ah! We're rolling now.
This is incredibly redundant for as far as the actions you would have to take to try and achieve all the cities.
Let's get paid and lock one on.
And see, now it seems like it's moved to the next row.
Where's my paycheck?
Alright, well, I'm calling that
Oh no.
a game.
He's
I'm
back.
gonna stop flipping the ball.
For your
At 2 hours and 10 minutes for this table,
Get
I've
out of here.
spent more time on this table than anything else.
Oh, Ted.
I'm just gonna flip the balls into the playfield, in the table, so we can see what the final score is while cheating. It's like 6 billion.
Big point.
I am definitely not enthusiastic for this table because of the theme bores me and the angles are just terrible. We're gonna end it somewhere around 7 billion. This highlights something that is hard to see for a lot of pinball players, just where pinball falls apart, where a 200-hour JRPG, on the other hand, wouldn't fall apart. The idea of grinding for 200 hours in a JRPG makes some sense, but playing one game of pinball for 2 hours definitely doesn't make sense. It's boring, it's redundant, it's not what you want to do. Even if you're a pro pinball player, you're gonna have just your fingers get sore, your legs get sore. Remember, you have to stand to play pinball, where sitting is the usual position you are in when playing video games. So they do have to be bite-sized experiences. Maybe you'll play 3 or 4 30-minute games of a really good pinball table, but you wouldn't want to play a 2-hour game. And that is true, I guess, for any pro level of playing any game, is that it's going to get very redundant and boring. The highest score they even wanted you to get on the high scores was 2.6 billion. Yeah, if I played this a lot, maybe I could pull off all these wizard goals, but probably won't ever try. We still have 183 tables to go. Ohio was the one mission that did not seem to want to unlock, so let's see if we can look at the instructions. Let's see. Ohio, trapped in Ohio. This mode has a timer that lasts 16 seconds, 5 million points immediately awarded when it begins. The goal is to escape from 2 cops either before the timer expires. Shoot the left ramp or the right ramp, escapes the first cop and scores 10 million. Once either ramp is shot, completing the other ramp, escapes the second cop and scores 25 million. If the ball is shot into Bob's bunker after the mode begins, hitting the magic stand-up target spots one of the ramps. This only works once each of the trapped in Ohio. Once each time they trapped in Ohio is hit. So there's like a stand-up target facing the other direction. It seems like that's a weird thought. So city event modes. The cities across the top of the map have white lights, the middle are yellow, the bottom are orange. Next city will be activated. There will be activated flashes. City event modes, or you've already pulled off, are lit solid. There are always 2 different city events that can be played. Hitting any one of the jet bumpers toggles between the 2 available cities. Available cities can also be toggled by hitting the stand-up targets. If 2 available cities have white or orange lamps, hitting the white stand-up target changes the city to the white lamp. So there is a little bit more control on it than it seems at first glance. Interesting. How many pages of instructions? 869 pages. We've seen instructions for most tables be somewhere around 400, and even in that, that's extremely a large number for very little sentences, a sentence or 2 per page. Souvenirs seem to only be for points. Which is just an extra thing. Like, get rid of half of the souvenirs or half of the bonuses, half of the cities. There's 2 tables worth of stuff going on here. Oh, the souvenirs do seem to increase your bonus if you've played that city. So you could get a higher score that way. Yeah, I'm not super enthused by that table. And it will only be... It'll be a while until we get to, like, Junkyard. Which, let's hop into Junkyard for a second and just show off this table because it's somewhat of a similar theme. You have this giant wrecking ball with a pinball attached to it, and then you try and hit it and bounce the ball to either hit the cars at the upper part or the standing targets on the edge. This means you on this table are going to focus a lot on center lane targets, and they help you very much with that. This table also is newer, so you can see there's basically a glossy glass on the top of the playfield, where other playfields look like they've just been painted on and just have wood. There's more to Junkyard than just the idea of big machineries, because there's a crazy inventor who's trying to get components to build a crazy invention. If anything, it might be the crazy inventor is stealing things from the junkyard to get components. But yeah, compare that to the table we've been playing. That might be a little bit more interesting as far as big rigs and big machines. I don't know if there's any other game that comes particularly close to that. And in all fairness, I probably would say that Red and Ted's Roadshow is slightly more interesting than Al's Garage Band Goes on World Tour. But Al's Garage Band Goes on World Tour plays a little bit better. Considerably less things, with 8 that you need to travel around the world with. And then a music theme instead of a construction theme as far as why you're going around the world. So yeah, I would be hard pressed to want to play either one of those 2 tables. But probably I would pick Al's first. Is there any other table that's somewhat close to it? I don't think so. And there's really no reason to stretch this out. We'll have Champion Soccer as our next table. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good